All right, hello everyone. My name is Manolis Finarlakis. Recently just joined the Kiwanis Club, and I'm also the founder and creator of Reality Crowd TV, a reality TV show about the crowdfunding movement that will be crowdfunded. And this is my third time now at the Kiwanis Club meeting. And for those of you who already have heard me speak, you know what crowdfunding is. But for those who have not heard me speak, by a show of hands, does anyone who hasn't heard me speak ever heard about crowdfunding? And can you scan the room for a moment? Just show the camera. Okay, perfect. So a couple people, good. So the reason why I came today is because I think this breakfast that you're having on May 2nd could potentially have some practical applications with crowdfunding that you can use here. And specifically, it seems like you have the layout of your breakfast already planned out. You have this advertising sheet, which has all this information, including for $50 a quarter-page ad, for $90 a half-page ad, and for $170 a full-page ad. You also have this table sponsorship, and if you don't mind, would I be able to keep this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you also have a table sponsorship, which you have a certain cost for, which is $190. So just to make sure everyone's up to speed, the way that crowdfunding works currently in the donation space is you set up a profile online, and for a specific donation, a contribution, you offer a reward. So I just explained, you have these 2 sheets of paper that are offering something which you could use as a reward. So if you set up a crowdfunding campaign for your breakfast, which today's date is, I believe, the 11th, you have approximately 3 months until the actual date. You have 3 months to build momentum and actually start your crowdfunding now and just build momentum and funnel people through the actual website instead of having to be in front of people with this in your hand. So the beauty of these crowdfunding websites, and the ones that I'll recommend for your group in particular, is GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. It also has the domain crowdfunding.com, so if you type in either one of those, you'll get to the same place. They do not have a time limit on when you need to raise the money by. There, you set it up, and it never ends until you hit your funding goal. So, I guess, how much money are you guys trying to raise for this event? Do you have a number in mind that would make it a success for you?
We're looking at clearing $10,000 in order to meet our budget obligations.
Okay, so you need to raise at least $10,000. And how much did you raise last year for this event?
Well, we grossed more than that, but our net would need to be about $10,000. Last year, we fell a little short. We actually got very generous and gave away more in terms of a computer for a blind child and an extra scholarship and so forth, and then didn't do quite as well as we normally do on our ads and our overall fundraiser. So this is a makeup year for us.
Perfect. Okay, so you need to at least net, after all expenses are considered, $10,000.
Correct.
So to me, you would probably want to set a funding goal of $10,000 on GoFundMe.com as your goal to kind of hit, because that really is. I mean, I wouldn't say it's pure profit because you have to obviously have your other fixed costs, but as far as what GoFundMe would charge you is they would just charge you a transaction fee similar to PayPal would. So they use actually a different payment processor, which is WePay, which is the same thing as PayPal, but it's called something different.
How much would that be? Let's say per 1,000, or is it per 100?
I want to say it's a percentage. So I'm not sure exactly what that percentage rate is, but I can find that out for you. I want to say it's probably 2.5%. But because of your already vast network, the Kiwanis Club has a huge network. The schools who you're trying to help have a huge network. You could literally just create the page in less than a week. By the time the next meeting comes, your page could be up and running. And now you use the power of everyone's social media channels. Instead of just having to meet people face to face and calling them, you can maybe give them a quick call, send them a quick email, and say, hey, Jimmy Johnson, we're trying to raise money for this. Here's actually what we're doing. Just like you paid last year, instead of us having to meet now, we can do it a lot easier. You can pay it over the internet.
It's a convenient way of doing it.
It's a video way of doing it, yep. Now, here's something fun that you could also incorporate. I just want to give you guys some ideas of other things you might want to add to your crowdfunding campaign. So you have these great rewards here, the advertising and the table, but everyone in your club has a particular skill or a particular mindset. Maybe you have a particular book or a product you've created in the past. Maybe there's something that you can offer to further entice people to donate to the Kiwanis. I'm trying to be a big proponent of skills-based crowdfunding, where if you're a nonprofit organization, you're trying to raise money for your organization, why not offer the skills of the members? Maybe one member is good at giving legal advice, or maybe another member is good at giving accounting advice, or another member might be great at real estate, for instance. Whatever the case may be, use what you have now as individuals to help raise money for the organizations that you're serving. And so to further entice people, maybe you add something in, you know, for $50 you get a quarter-page ad and a spot on John Gogliatino's show, right? Like you know, you add something kind of fun for them to see what it can do, and it just further entices people to want to participate and contribute. Now, the main thing about crowdfunding is maybe this year you use it simply for the ease of internet transactions, because it is only 3 months and this is a new concept for you guys. I don't think you'll have enough time to really ramp up like a huge operation. I mean, unless you'd like to, I'd love to help you in that if you'd like to. But in the future, the way a crowdfunding campaign works is similar to a political campaign. And my friend here is very involved in politics, and I'm sure he knows how rigorous the campaign trail is. It's all about raising money, it's all about getting your name out there, it's all about giving speeches, whatever the case may be. Think of it for next year, if you enlist the help of every single traditional network that you currently work with, whether it's this club is one network, the other clubs across Connecticut are another network, the people who you're helping now are the schools that you're raising the money for. Enlist their help, set up meetings with everyone who you're going to be helping raise money for. You really have to build that huge traditional branch out campaign to then bring them in one room, make them all understand, number one, what is crowdfunding in the first place. Number two, how does it ensure that everything's protected? Where is the money going? Number three, how do we send it out to everyone? How do we promote it? Communications plan, in other words, you got to develop a plan. Number four, what are the skill sets that we can offer, or what are the rewards that we can offer as a community who's doing this together that will entice people to really donate to this cause? And then finally, you know, you get an individual, you know, maybe it's someone who's savvy in your organization who does your social media for you, or maybe you decide it's in our budget to have someone really do our social media full time. But if you plan this out and you start maybe 6 months prior, if this is your keynote event, 6 months prior you plan it out starting January 1st, and suddenly everyone knows about it in the area and everyone understands it. Because the main part of this is socializing people on what crowdfunding is in the first place. So what I'd like to offer you guys is, if you guys want my help to incorporate this GoFundMe methodology into this campaign, I'd be happy to help you set that up. If you'd like me to speak with people who are from these other clubs and from these schools and you think you can get people now, I'd love to do that too. And John, go ahead.
I mentioned this to you in the first place in the sense that we have so many key clubs. They're youngsters, and they tend to be more web savvy and more involved with this. So if we advertise in the schools, they'll get their parents, they'll have a multiplier effect. You get the parents and the relatives, and yeah, this is all come help us indirectly, so to speak. And
you're absolutely right, John.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about crowdfunding is it's only through social media. You can't really. Crowdfunding works because you send them to a website, and then the website explains it. And so I don't think we'll have time to create a video for your crowdfunding campaign, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe it just becomes the actual ease of use to the internet transaction piece that now everyone can blast in their social media that'll make you guys really raise a lot more money. But in the future, it would be fun to actually get someone who's good at video to make kind of an entertaining or a pull at the heartstrings type of video as to who you're helping and why you're raising the money. And actually, tell me that, if you don't mind, someone tell me exactly where this money's going to when you raise it.
the scholarship.
Oh, scholarships?
Well,
And can you actually point the camera to this gentleman? I want to.
there are several things that we do. For example, we have the key clubs. There's 6 high schools that we help support the key clubs in the local area. On April 4th, Springfield, Massachusetts, for their annual convention, will pay for the bus. And so that's an expensive item right there that we'll pick up the cost. At our breakfast, we also honor the Key Club Student of the Year with a trophy award for their leadership in service organizations. That's another expense. Dinesh spoke a minute ago about the Bring Up Grades program. We have expenses associated with that. A large chunk of it goes out to the scholarships. We've been doing $1,000 per high school or per student, up to $7,000 or $8,000 a year over the last several years. And then there are a number of other activities that we do throughout the year, such as Halloween on the Green and so forth, that are, this is where we get the funding for it. There are no costs against it other than the actual cost of getting the funding in. 100% of what the proceeds are that are net go back into the community.
Wonderful. So it sounds to me that your ground game is incredible. If you could raise $10,000 on a ground game, and this is your primary way of doing it for this particular breakfast, your ground game is solid. Now you're adding another element. If you can magnify that ground game, because I'm sure there's been times in your guys' development where you've been trying to get with someone, for whatever reason you can't meet up with them in person, and suddenly you don't get a donation from them. So maybe this just adds to the convenience factor, another option for people that if they say, is there any way you could send me it through email, maybe someone asks. And then they're like, yeah, of course there is. Bam. It's another option for you guys to raise more money in a more convenient manner.
With non-local friends too.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be people in front of you. Like, in other words, if somebody picks up on this and you guys have media connections, and they suddenly hear that, wow, Kiwanis is being innovative, they're using crowdfunding to actually promote their event. Suddenly you're on the news, and then suddenly your reach goes well beyond Connecticut. Suddenly the key clubs from all over the country are like, wow, let's support these guys. So like, this is another element, which Dinesh, your wife, I believe, is in PR. Is that correct?
No, that's Sarah Dunlop.
Oh, is that not your wife? Oh, sorry. So your friend Sarah is in PR. Sorry about that. I was confused, my bad. And so she could be the one to help with media relations, and I'm sure you guys have some media contacts. If we actually do this, and suddenly the media gets wind of this, that Kiwanis is being this innovative, there's actually, I just got a message, and I'm gonna read it to you, because someone just sent it to me because they know I'm about crowdfunding right now. This is the message I just got. She said someone named, I guess Kim Lucy. She heard that Channel 3 is having a report featuring crowdfunding tonight at 11 o'clock. So it's something that's becoming mainstream. But it's still so new that if you guys are known, Kiwanis is known for crowdfunding their event, that's a huge media relations push. And this is what the person said. I said, how do we get on this? She said, this was pre-recorded, I had no clue. Send me your favorite link about the show that I'm doing, and I'll forward it to Kim Lucy with a plug from me. So maybe I forward this as well. I'll say, not only have I done this, but I'll forward you this video of what we're trying to do at the Key Club. So now we have a video. This is the video I'll forward to the reporter. I'll say, look at what Kiwanis is doing with crowdfunding. And
that's one of their key reporters, Channel 3.
Kim Lucy? Yeah. So apparently this person knows who this person is. I never heard of Kim Lucy. I love you, Kim, by the way. But I haven't heard of her. But this video will be what we show her, and we'll say, this is what Kiwanis is trying to do. Give us some publicity for the club. So it could be, this could become viral, so to speak. And Dinesh has a question, and do you mind putting the camera on Dinesh for a moment?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So there is really no cost up front at all for us, other than what we're going to pay them afterwards, like a PayPal or not.
Yeah, I'm not charging you guys anything for this.
So nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Absolutely.
And can we go on LinkedIn as well, or is it only Facebook?
Everywhere.
Because I have over 500 connections on LinkedIn, so I guess everybody has a bunch of those on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I got them.
Yeah.
So that's a huge target then.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it could be like a way to reconnect with your LinkedIn connections and say,
Yeah.
hey, you know, long time no speak. By the way, you know, this is what we're doing at Kiwanis. You know, here's a link.
Yeah.
If you feel like you could either contribute or share it with your friends, that'd be great.
Sure.
And you know, and in other words, the great part about it is, you don't have to have these strict numbers. You can actually collect a donation for just $1 just to be a supporter. Like, feel free to donate whatever you want. It doesn't have to be giving them something. Some people don't want anything, they just want to donate. So then that's literally all profit. There's no work involved there.
So if everybody on my LinkedIn accounts sends in $1, that's $500 more.
Yeah, even if it's $1, maybe you could do a give me $1 campaign. But these are the small things that if the news outlets get hold of it, if bloggers get hold of it, if all these traditional sources of media get hold of it, the traditional media is what drives social media because it gives you something to Facebook, it gives you something to LinkedIn, it gives you something to tweet. And suddenly, like my friend, what was your name, sir?
Paul.
Paul, like Paul mentioned, it doesn't have to be local anymore. It could potentially go well beyond Connecticut and across whatever area is needed. All right, so that's about it. If anyone has any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them at another time.
We should, since we have a board meeting following, I'm sure we'll bring up the board meetings. That would be a board decision.
Perfect. That sounds great. So, all right. So, thank you, everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thank you, camera lady Linda. That was very nice of you. Thank you.
Welcome.